think about yourself being in the same situation. All this reason of using this narrative of you is to include the person who is reading this. So put yourself in this situation. Okay, you are a businessman right now. Unless you read the book, you will not be able to relate to the circumstances of this man and this woman, the pretty girl and you. You are not going to be able to understand much unless you read just half-hearted summaries. They are just highlights of what is happening in the chapter. There's a lot which is happening there, and you will really enjoy reading it. So put yourself in the shoes of this man. This man has lost his parents, his sister. He does not have a single person in his life who loves him for what he is. He has a wife who is 20 years younger. And what can you expect from a person who is that young from you? If she is in love, he is not in love with her. He does not have anybody. So although he is very rich, if you look at it apparently, what a life he is leading. I would give anything to be in his shoes. But no, you don't want to be in his shoes. He has nothing, no whatsoever, no emotional support or love. So this is a very pitiful situation for the man, if you look at it in that manner. Otherwise, if you are looking at it from the money perspective, yes, he is doing very well in his life. So this is chapter number 7. Let's move on to chapter 8. Befriend a bureaucrat. As soon as you start to go up on the social ladder, you are coming into contact with different kind of influential people. I told you in every chapter, you will meet a new person, and that will reveal how deeply corrupted our society is. In the previous chapter, you met this person who is a businessman, rich, influential, and he's trying to kill his competitor. Do you really kill your competitor? You just try to become better. This is what you should do in business, but it is a land where there is no law. So he's trying to kill the person who is his competitor. In the next chapter, you meet a bigger thief, a bigger thug, and that is a bureaucrat. So if you want to be a successful businessman, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, if you want to be filthy rich in Rising Asia, you have to become a friend of a bureaucrat. Okay, so getting filthy rich without harnessing the state's might is impossible. If the state is not on your side, in many cases, the state is not on your side. The corporate business companies, the state is not the politics, the people, the government is not on their side, but the bureaucrats who are serving their own self-centered interest are on their corporate side. Okay, you all know what kind of corruption goes on. Okay, these playgrounds which are meant for the government issued lands for playgrounds for children are given to the people who are making plazas and shopping centers on that. Are you aware of this fact? There is a land which is government owned, and this land is maybe for a masjid, maybe for a mosque, maybe for a playground, maybe for some old house or something, but it is given to a person who is in corporate business by these people, by these bureaucrats, because they are taking bribes from them. So they do not care what kind of land goes to what people, what rules they are breaking. If you want to be very successful in life, you have to befriend a bureaucrat, because he will get you the permissions you want to expand your business, to buy or sell something, to get custom free or duty free deliveries and all of that. If you want help with that, you will have to befriend a bureaucrat who can bend rules for you. That is symbolism for losing. No, there is no symbolism. You can say his death can be a symbolism of him losing substance in his life. You can say his relative's death, not the death itself. We have this chapter, these things are not talking about death. I haven't read a single chapter where the writer is on the subject of death. No, he's not talking about death at all. He's simply talking about the death of his relatives. Yes, you can say the death of our relatives are eluding. Not, let's not say eluding. Yes, they are kind of symbol to him losing substance in his life. You can say that, not the death itself. The subject that is not his relative's death can be symbolism for him losing substance in his life, for him losing support in his life, for him losing the very essence of his life. Yes, you can say that. But not the death of his relatives. That's what you can say. Yes, because he is so hell bent on getting money, getting rich in filthy Asia, he forgets everything. So he is doing what? He's befriending a bureaucrat now who is bending rules for him. They are self serving. Okay, and finally he did it. He has befriended a bureaucrat. When he went to him, when you goes to this bureaucrat, he's very dismissive, he's very disrespectful. As soon as you give him money, you bribe him, he becomes very respectful towards you because he is getting what he wants. This is what is happening in this chapter. Okay, now you have a son. Finally, you have a son who loves you, but you have a wife who hates you because you were in love with. You still are, because you still are in love with the pretty girl. So you do not give her, your wife, the due attention she needs. That's why she become distant and distant and distant from you. You have a son and he loves you, so that's okay. But you have a wife who has completed her education and he has started her own organization, and she has her own money finally. She has started her own organization and she is busy in her own social work and Islamic organization and Islamic work and whatever she's doing, and she does not care about you. You two are not close at all. You go your way, she goes her own way. You meet the pretty girl again. You two are meeting again, but this time in a very different situation. You are abroad in a business convention and she is there on a holiday trip of somewhere. Okay, and she is doing very well. She married a business tycoon and who is dead, and she has the money, all the wealth he had, and she is doing very good with the furniture interior business of hers. So you two are filthy rich finally. You're doing very, very good. Move on to chapter number 9. Patronize the artists of war. In Pakistan, you have somewhat a political hierarchy. There are, let's say, a hierarchy in general. Okay, there is military, number one, on the top of hierarchy. There is government, number two, on the second list of hierarchy. Do you understand what hierarchy is? Or am I just saying the word and you don't understand it? Because she did not want to get married. He asked her once, twice, thrice. She said no. She never married. He married a very old man, and that was only for the purpose of getting money. So she's again, I'm telling you, both of these people, both this you and the pretty girl, they are all about how Wahab has unmuted his mic. Yes, Asan? They're all about getting money, and they will do whatever they will have to do to get that money, to become rich. This is what this book is mocking. This is what this book is criticizing. These two people are willing to do whatever it takes to become rich. So he asked her, but she said no because she wants to become settled. She wants to get her own money. She wants to be rich like he is. This is why she said no. In the chapter number 9, while I was talking about hierarchy. You're welcome, Samra. Do you understand what hierarchy is? Hierarchy means a system of levels, okay? On the top, there are people who are most privileged, best. Then we have inferior people down the ladder. Down the ladder, okay. On the top of the ladder, you have the best people who are very powerful, who are very rich, and all that. And then you have people coming down, okay. Yes, dominancy levels. Yes, you can say the ranking system. Yes, Samra, that's very good. This is how it is, ranking system. So the first rank in our country comes to military. Most powerful company, but not company, most powerful organization or most powerful entity in our country is the military. As powerful a businessman as you become, you will get to different powerful people. Then the government. In the last chapter, we talked about how he befriended the government. Now he has all the links he want in government, and he can get away with anything. Okay, and now he wants favors with. If you want to become more filthy rich, then you might need people from the war, that is the military. Military is the limit. If you can get some people in military on your side, it means you are doing an excellent job at whatever you are doing. Okay, this chapter starts with telling all of us that information is power. This chapter is quite confusing because this is somewhat very different from other chapters. It talks about how information is important, how technology is taking everything in their hands. This talks about how media is thriving. This talks about how blogs, how news blogs, how everything is, how every news channel people are obsessed with information. And especially in wars, intelligence is very important. So this chapter was a bit confusing for me too. And there is a question I have read this interview of Mohsin Hameed, where he talked about, said, see, when you do not have much physical power, what gives you more power is knowing what your rivals, what your loved ones, and what the other people are doing. That kind of knowledge gives you leverage on them. If you know that your rival is having a certain affair with somebody, if you know that your rival is in some kind of illegal business, that gives you leverage on them. And that helps you to be dominant over them. That's why it talks about this hierarchy and this information thing. Become as knowledgeable, as informatory a person as possible, because in that manner you will be able to have leverage on other people. You will have somewhat, this chapter is talking about, to get information on the people. You will have somewhat leverage on them. And this is what everything in her life. She's sitting in her room, she's working on a laptop, what you are doing, what your wife is doing. So every detail is there. So it's kind of like you are obsessed with getting information on the people because you want to be in power. You are in absolute power of your life right now, and you are in a deal with the military. You are going to make somewhat a power plant somewhere in the military basis, and you are in a deal with them. So the tapes are dissolving. Everything is open to you. This is some kind of a level everybody would like to achieve. Now you are in contract with the military. It means you have no boundaries whatsoever. Because if you get a military clearance, you have everything, especially here in Pakistan. Okay? So the rift between you and your wife has widened to an unsurmountable distance. Now you and your wife have decided that until your son is young, till then you are going to stay together. As soon as he's a grown man, he's settled in his life, you two will part your ways. So you are going to lose your wife soon. Again, one success, one failure. See how these two things are juxtaposition. He he moves one step further in his economic life, in his business life, and he falls one step shorter in his love life, in his emotional life, in his personal life. This is how these two things are. Yes, exactly. Exactly. They can be blackmailed. This is what it means, Fazila. Thank you for pointing that out. This is what is happening. He gets some kind of victory in his business and then he loses a loved one. Soon he'll be losing his wife. Okay? Your path crosses with the pretty girl again. Again, he meets the pretty girl. In different manner again, but he meets her. The rich are crippled with fear every minute of their existence due to never ending threats of robbery, kidnapping, and blackmailing. Yet, in this battle of rich versus poor, the loser is the poor. This part of the chapter talks about the unsurmountable difference between classes. There are ultra rich. When you read this chapter, you will see what kind of military bases are. Our 80% budget goes to the military. Now, it used to be 70%, now it is 80%. We are a nation who are at war with our own country, who are at war with our own military. Our military is not there to protect us. It's kind of like that. Um, but it is somewhat hoarding our money. It is somewhat taking what is ours. It is taking the money which is meant for our education system, which is meant for our healthcare, which is meant for our well being. What is happening instead? It is taking This our military is taking all the money and using it for their luxury. So when you start this chapter, when you read this chapter, you will see what kind of luxurious places these generals and colonels and majors are living in. While and Mohsin Hameed that described these places as Europe within Pakistan, a place which is impossible to have here. There are walls, they are soundproof, they are poor people proof. They are living it a dream. They are living in places which are palaces. So there is a lot of security. These people are very afraid. These young rich people are very afraid of the poor because they think these poor are going to rob them. But actually, what happens? The poor cannot rob them. It is very risky. They will get killed. The poor are robbing each other. What happens in the end? There is a dead body on the road whose fingers and head is cut off, and by the looks of it, it looks like that it is your brother who was killed while you were sleeping soundly, lightly in your own house. Your brother was being killed on the streets. So if you think that you are not safe, it is not you who is not safe. It is the poor who are not safe. Okay, let's not waste time then. Let's move on. This man is filthy rich. He has everything he wanted to. He has crossed every limit. He has befriended a bureaucrat. He has no rivals. Everybody fears him. And he is in bed with the military. When I say in bed with the military, it does not mean he is in bed literally. It means that he is in contract with the military. So he has passed every obstacle there is for a businessman to become successful. He is very, very successful. What happened next is his downfall. Dance with death. Okay, so in this chapter, what happens? This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. This is a very famous. These are the lyrics from a song. I do not know if you have heard about this song. This is the end. 007 by Adele. No, I thought so. You might not have heard this song. This is a kind of a doomsday song. This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. This is the situation of your life right now because your end has come. Your wife has divorced you and she has gone to live with a man of her own age and who is more religious than you are. Your son has left you. He is in North America and he has decided to live here because apparently he is gay. In a Pakistani society, the people who are not men or women, they are not welcome at all. If you have a different origin, sexual origin, than a male and a female, you are not welcome at all. In this book, on several occasions, it was mentioned that your son was, I'm saying your, it means that the protagonist's son was somewhat effeminate, womanly. Okay, he was always confused. He used to stay in in his room because he was confused all the time. He was bullied maybe at school, and it turned out that he was gay. So he doesn't want to come back to Pakistan because here he cannot live the way he should live. He has left you, your wife has left you, you are all alone. Your big company, your big business, everything is there, but you are all alone. Finally, you are in your 80s, you are frail, you are sick, you are in the presence of people who are going to deceive you in your business, and now there is a competition, and your advisors, your business advisor, who is your business advisor? Your ex-wife's brother is your business advisor. He is advising you to either sell your company or to buy another company in order to kill competition. You are very much skeptical of this idea, but in the end, you're alone, you eat alone, you live alone, you have nobody with you. So you say, okay, we will buy. And now this man who has been with you for a longer period of time, who is the brother of your ex-wife, he has been loyal to you throughout, but apparently only. He has been hoarding money. He has been stealing with you. He seizes this chance and steal from you again. You have a heart attack, you are in hospital, you stay in the hospital, your son is not back, your wife takes care of you, and then because you are absent, you are not there, this man takes advantage of this situation, your ex-wife's brother, and takes everything with him and leaves the country. So you are left penniless. You are in debt now. You are in no good position to bargain anything. Everything you had is mortgaged with the bank. Your house, your company, everything. Everything. You have lost everything. You are poor now. You have no house. You have no wife. You have no emotions. You have no relations. You have no money. So you have left. You have lost whatever you gained in your life. In this chapter, this Mohsin Hameed is trying to tell you no matter how much you earn, no matter what kind of filthy rich you become in Asia, it can all go away in a moment. It can go away with a blink. It can all go away any moment. While the relationships are long lasting, everlasting. Okay, although she's not your wife any longer, but she comes back to nurse you, to take care of you. She is there for you. She feels a pity for you. She even pays for your bills of hospital. This is what you need in your life, not the money only. You have lost your house and everything. Okay, and everything has turned to dust. Everything is gone now. Your life is on stake too. You're about to die, but your wife has arranged a very best physician from surgeon from an international surgeon, and he operates on you and he says that you will live. She is the person who saves your life, and she says, okay, because you did a favor to me and I'm returning the favor back to you. This is what is happening in your life. The same is happening in Pretty Girl's life. She's losing her business, and now finally she is as poor as you are. She's living in an apartment. You are living in a two-star hotel apartment, and she's living in a town's home where she is living on rents. Okay, the people who make white money are the people who started with black. Business is not very pretty. Okay, it's ugly. If you think that you are the completely legitimate businessman, is filthy rich. Pay attention on this word, filthy rich. You cannot get filthy rich by legitimate business. Here and there, you do wrinkles. There are wrinkles in your business, shady business. There is something there. Okay, there are people, especially see if you're talking about landlords or maybe the people who are um, land owners, जिनको हम we can call vaderas and all. Anybody who is in a business, who is running a business, there is somewhat some shade there. They have somewhat used some illegal way to get to that kind of business. Is this clear, people? Okay, perfect. Now let's move on. Focus on the fundamentals. Now you have left with nothing, so you have to focus on fundamentals. You are living in a two-star hotel, as I have told you before, and in that two-star hotel, because you are a tycoon, you were a business tycoon. So a lot of young people, a lot of low-income, ambitious managers, aspiring youth, they come to you for advice, and you take let's say and you take a much pride in that. You are very happy to be in their company just because you are not alone when they are there. You are all alone in your life. Your family is dead. Your wife is not there. Your son won't come back. So to kill your time, you do not charge them. You do not take any money from them. You just love that they are there for you, that they are somewhat there. Somebody is there to talk to. That's why you are helping them. You are left with nothing. No money, no relationships, no friends, no one. The pretty girl's situation is not different from you. She is living alone. She has no friends at all. Her assistant, who was managing her business, died in the last chapter. I did not mention it, forgot to mention it. Pretty girl's manager, who was managing her business, she died in the last chapter, so she's all alone. She's living in a house. You two are very alone in the life. Okay, you are finally where you who you should be. Oh, now what happens there? You two are in a dispensary. You two are buying medicines. You're the pretty girl and you both are buying medicines. And then you see each other. She comes to you. She looks at you. She look at you, and she says, "Do I look as old as you look as you do?" You say no. This is a very beautiful dialogue in the book. You should read it. You are in a dispensary. You are buying medicine. You two meet each other. The pretty girl comes to you. She asks, "Do I look as old as you look?" And you said no. The pretty girl smiled and she said, "I thought that you were an honest boy." And then you smile together. This is the prettiest moment in your life after so many years of struggle. You are finally where you should be. You two meet uh, very often. You two go to the park. You two sit together. You talk about old days. And finally, you laugh. You haven't laughed in years. This is the first real laugh you have when you are with the pretty girl. You two are above 80. You two are very old, very crippled. Your skins are sagging. You are not as you used to be, not powerful, but happy because you have each other finally. You are together. Is this clear, people? Yes, imagine they finally meet with each other, and they are sitting with each other and they are laughing. Finally, a laugh which they should have done this before. They should have just married each other and stayed happy, but instead, they decided to go the other way. They have lost the very beautiful, very powerful, very important years of their life. They should have been together. They were meant for each other, but they did not do it. But in the end, finally, they are together. You are living a dream life, finally. You do not have money, but you are happy. This chapter starts with something saying, "We are all refugees from our childhood, trying to invent ourselves and lives." Aren't we refugees? This was a very emotional chapter, if you ask me. It was very emotional for me to read this. The first line said, "We are all refugees from our childhood. The moment we are born, we do not know who we are. As soon as we try to understand that we are different from our parents, that we are different human beings, that our circumstances are different, our aspirations are different, our thoughts are different, we as human beings are different, our essence is different, we are different from any other soul in the universe. This is the moment when we become refugees. We try to find ourselves, we try to think that who we are, we try to find this question, we try to figure out what we should be. There I durasta hai. Okay, you can say that. You can say that. But then in the end, you are always clueless. You do not know. You spend your whole lives thinking that this is you. You spend your whole life that this is that whatever you are doing, but you realize no, it was not what you were doing was not right. What you are doing in the end is right when all the hustle bustle is gone. So we are all refugees. We are all finding our ways. And very often, very often, we lose our ways. We are refugees in our homes, as these two were. They were living in grand houses. They were living dream lives, but they were still refugees in that part of their life too. You and the pretty girl are now living together. You have left your hotel and you have moved in with the pretty girl. You are two living together, as fresh as old as me, but and you two are playing cards, you two are laughing, you two are smiling, you two are sharing memories. One day, your son comes home and colors return to your world. He lives with you for a month. He cooks for you, takes you to restaurant. You have, and he leaves you some money, and then it is over. He's gone. You are alone again. Alone again to grapple with your problems, to be there all day. And then the worst day of your life arrives. The pretty girl dies of cancer. She is there. Yes, Samra, yes. It is quite late now. He has lost his son. He has lost everything that was there. Yes, this book is, yes, you have got the theme of this book. Okay, this is the theme of this book. If your whole lives you run after money, you run after becoming something, you run after proving yourself to people, but then you forget what is actually the meaningful things in your life. This was the meaningful thing in your life. Your hand in the hands of pretty girl. She's suffering from cancer. The doctor gives her 3 months, but she dies in only 15 days. This is the most painful time of your life. And on the funeral, there is no one except you, the woman who is the tenant, who is living on rent in her home, and the person who was taking care of her. That's it. There are no people, no loved ones, nobody to cry over her grave. You are left alone, left alone. And after a few days, you open your eyes and you are in a hospital again. As soon as you open your eyes, you see your wife there, you see your son there, you see your wife's husband, you see your brother's children, and then you think whether all these last days you have been spending with the pretty girl were actually true or not. You are thinking that. And then you are pretty sure that they were true because the pretty girl is there. She is young and she is sitting beside your bed. She takes your hand in her hand, and then you decide to leave everything behind. You die. So, this is it, people. In the end, we all die, of course, all of us. But this was a very heartbreaking death. Alone, poor, frail. This is the whole book, the whole summary. He fought for one thing his entire life, that was money. And in the end, he was defeated. It's a bittersweet ending. Although you are very sad for him that he lost his money, then you become happy for him that finally he gets some closure in his life, that he is somewhat happy finally. But then in the end, that happiness was so short living. You two should that they should have been and there was nobody on his funeral too. His parents are dead, his brother and sister are dead, everybody is dead. His son does not like to live with him. The only joy in his life was his son who left him. What else is left to like there? Nothing. They are, but for a very short period of time. You cannot love each other as you love as you love each other in a young age. You go, you explore your relationships, you are going there and here, you are trying to explore each other's personality, you are spending the best moments of your life together making memories. That's what is important. What kind of memories did he have when the critical died? They were both very old. They could not share the passion they had for each other. They could not love each other enough, if you ask me, from the romantic perspective. They were each other together, but for a very short period of time. It wasn't satisfactory. For the most period of their life, they stayed alone, miserable, both the pretty girl and him. If they were together, they would have been supporting each other in each other's difficult time. They did not have each other's support, but at least they had that support in the end. It made me very emotional too. I was really, really struck by it. Was really difficult to swallow this ending. It was really difficult. If you are not reading the whole novel, at least read the last two chapters. At least do it today. You will feel the pain all over again. Okay, people, this is it for the summary of it.